Morning, folks. Phil Gallagher here with your daily dose of D&T. I'm back in Roanoke now. I've returned from Latin Academy, getting ready to move, so I'm going to crank out a handful of videos right now. In continuation with the theme of last week, we're going to try some more things instead of Wasteland in D&T. And, you know, the last set hasn't gone live yet. They start going live this morning, so I haven't started hearing your comments of, it's blasphemy without playing Wasteland in D&T. So, I'm aware of how blasphemous it is, but let's try it out. I don't think Wasteland is a great card right now in the format. So today we're going to try to be more aggressive with our lands, and we're going to play a full playset of Mishra's Factory. You know, we've got the man land here to kind of close the gap, and to supplement this, we're going to play Tomic so that we can try and protect our man lands against opposing wastelands when it matters. We're also going to be playing Brimaz, so between like Tomic and Brimaz, a handful of our flex slots are, you know, big enough to survive Ren and 6 pings, and totally blanking on it. The black creature that gives all your creatures -1/-1 of the chosen type. Plague Engineer, there we go. Otherwise, sideboard kind of looks like what I was doing before. Let's just kind of go and jump into a match and see how it goes. Legacy League, D&T with Factory, play points. Let's do it and try to get into a match. So Legacy's in kind of a weird place currently, where everyone's trying to figure out how to beat all of the greedy mid-range / controlling decks. Let's turn that down a bit. I have sort of a medium power level hand that I'll be keeping. Island is an ambiguous opener, so we can't really say what my opponent is playing with authority yet. But when my opponent leads on Island, I usually wish that I had Thalia in my opening hand. Like, if we're playing against a combo deck, I'm not well suited to fight that battle. If we're playing against a control deck, I do have a decent amount of gas and 2 cards that effectively cantrip. And this bad boy now. So let's throw this out here, I think, and play the Stoneforge. Stoneforge will get Sword of Fire and Ice, though having the Batter Skull will be a nice surprise. We're hoping that my opponent is on something like Miracles rather than something like Ant. Alright, so we're probably playing against Grixis control. I had another white source, that would have been an incredible draw. We're going to be hoping to spike a land next turn. Alright, so now I'm going to put in a piece of equipment. And I will probably unfortunately lose whatever piece of equipment I put in plus the Stoneforge to a K command. I'm going to put in the Batter Skull. I'd rather lose that. Yep. So now I'm hoping to draw a white source so I can just slam this Palace Jailer. Nope. What am I doing? Again, everything that's going on really requires me to have more mana. I'm just kind of stuck right now. I wish I could, like, do something like play out Double Mom or, like, Double Spell in basically any capacity, but I just can't. I'm really afraid that my opponent's just going to stick a Walker while I'm stumbling over my own mana. This would be a good point to have a Walking Ballista to fetch. They do not have that luxury. As awkward as it looks, I'm going to get a Phyrexian Revoker here, so that if I continue to stumble on mana, this gives me the option of play something for 2 colorless mana and also Mom. Ugh, losing the Palace Jailer there is really rough. That was more or less my path to victory in this game. Vial is a fine draw. See if my opponent will trade off their Strix for my Recruiter. They will. I'm relatively happy with that. Opponent, if you can do something big and scary, I'm in trouble. Jeez, this list is really basic heavy. So Snapcaster, K-Command, get Mom and Vial. Must be nice. Although, honestly, Mom, like, killing the Mom and getting back Strix, or killing the Mom and making me discard is probably better than destroying the Vial. If I'm being completely honest. Continuing to miss on the land drops here is really rough. Like, I can't double spell, I can't cast this. And note that this is instead of Wasteland, so it's not like this came at the cost of a white source. I think I'm going to run this sword out here. And just, like, bank towards drawing a white source to double spell in one turn. Otherwise, I can just, like, play Mom and equip Mom. Which isn't ideal, but it does things. Oh, great. Is this a Gurmag Angler? If so, I just can't beat that right now. Ugh. So this Vial is going to be too slow to matter with 7 points on the other side of the table. There's a hope that this holds back the Gurmag Angler, but like Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, anything of that ilk just ruins me here. Don't have the Palace Jailer to draw to anymore. So I essentially need to draw Swords to Plowshares this turn, take the Gurmag Angler off the table. Plains, you're a little late to the party, friend. Alright, how do I get out of this? It involves throwing 2 creatures at Gurmag Angler, and my opponent not having any spot removal to blow me out. That does not feel good. Yikes. The good news is I stopped the Snapcaster Mage from attacking with Mishra's Factory if my opponent doesn't have a removal spell. But that's a big ask. Okay, they don't have a removal spell. That's great. Then let's take this opportunity to tap down an island. Why are you responding to an Ether Vial? Are you gonna, like, K-command me take this card out of my hand and return Strix? Alright. I think I would have personally saved that Force of Negation in case my other card was Source of Plowshares, but that's fine. I have to pray they have nothing here. I basically have no other choice. I've got 3 turns on current board, potentially less. My opponent is low on resources, but I have literally nothing. Hard cast Force of Will, ruin me. I'm prepared. Yeah, and I couldn't port my opponent off of that either, unfortunately. Alright, so now I'm dead to board next turn, with basically nothing I can do about it. Like, if I draw a creature, I can block the Snapcaster Mage, but... well... it's a start. Still dead to the Flyers the following turn. Alright. Alright. That one wasn't meant to be. So I have a lot of cards that I can think about boarding in for this matchup. I'm not going to board all of them, but that should give you a general idea of where my mind's going to be at. Taking a second to pull up and see what I was doing before with a slightly different deck list. There we go. So previously, I was cutting all of these, going down a wisp, cutting my mom's, and a revoker. And I was bringing in, like, chalices, council's judgment, cataclysm, ballista recruiter, jailer, prelate. Some of that stuff's already main deck. So I need to cut 2 cards or not sideboard in 2 of these. What I'm doing now is probably over sideboarding. I don't think my opponent has the Wrenn in 6, so I'm probably not going to play Rest in Peace. Alternatively, I cut 1 piece of equipment, and I go like a Jitte out, and play 1 Rest in Peace. Jitte is not really ideal in this matchup, because Baleful Strix clogs up the board, so a lot of times you attack in, you trade your creature for Baleful Strix, and then you get Jitte counters when you would really just like to get through the Strix in the first place, and sort of Truth and Justice allows you to do that. I think I'm going to run like this. I would like to play first. This is a great opening hand. I will be keeping this. Anytime you can go Vial into Chalice against these sorts of decks, it's just like the best thing you can be doing with your opening hands. And I'm actually going to lead on Factory. If I get Thought Seized and I lose my Chalice, I might just attack with Factory on turn 2. Doot, 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 doot. This hand is looking stellar, by the way. My Pithing Needle is currently dead, but I have the 2 best bombs in my deck in play right now. Or not in play, in hand. Double down? I think I'll double down on that. We're looking to spike a land. Play Palace Jailer. And then at some point, Cataclysm. Probably not immediately. I have great artifacts in play. Son of a bitch. Not pleased about this development. And a Toxic Deluge. Okay. Life's gotten significantly harder. So I think I'm supposed to wait a turn to Cataclysm. If I Cataclysm now, I'm essentially just blowing up more of my permanents than my opponent's permanents. I think I just attack this Narset down and then pass the turn. Like next turn, I can tick Vial up to 4, put in Palace Jailer, cast Cataclysm, keep a Chalice on 1 and Mishra's Factory and be in a really good position to kill the Narset the following turn. Oh man. Oh man. This is actively good for me now. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this. Alright, my opponent's just done with me. Which is cool. Is there a world where I would like a second Rest in Peace? Second Rest in Peace could be better than a Flicker Wisp. I'd really rather stay at 20 bodies than go down to 19, though. Could consider cutting the 24th land for another spell. I think I'm just going to run this back. I am slightly concerned about the number of Garmega Anglers my opponent is running, because they've gotten it early 2 games in a row, which may mean it's more than a one of, and that I actually should consider another Rest in Peace. I'm just going to go down to 59 cards while I think. Nope, never mind. That doesn't work. This hand is not great. I will probably mulligan this hand. Like it has a Thalia to start with, but I probably need something more powerful than this. Like, if my opponent has 2 1-for-1 removal spells, this hand just isn't good enough. I'd rather have something like Chalice, Palace Jailer, Recruiter Stoneforge to like give me some push. Like, this has mana, but I have nothing to do with it. I think a 6-card hand can probably be more consistent than this one. And Phyrexian Revoker is actually pretty bad in the matchup. It's in the deck to tutor for late game, but is very poor in your opening hand. I'll be keeping this one. Guess what I'll send back? This hand is much better. That means I can't get him done turn 2, which is very good for this hand. Again, really need to draw lands to make this one work. I didn't talk about this earlier, but Prismatic Vista really allows some of these multicolored decks to do crazy things with the number of basics that they can play. I am just going to shut the graveyard off as a resource right now. My opponent respects their graveyard a lot. Pitching a Snapcaster Mage in order to do that, though. So I'm A-okay with that trade. Really don't want to get hemmed. I know I've said that already. Yeah, that's fine. It may just be correct to violin a Stoneforge Mystic and cast a sword, and badly expose myself to a Culligan's Command. Otherwise, I'm playing out another Vial and, like, a blind Pithing Needle on one of their Planeswalkers. I don't think I love that. I think I'm going to take my worse sword here, rather than my better one, in case it gets blown up. I'd rather have access to the Sword of Fire and Ice as the game goes longer. And I say this is the worst one, but this is still pretty great, right? Like, if this gets equipped and I start crashing in there, it becomes a problem very, very quickly. So while it's worse, it's still very good. Just wanted to make that clear. My opponent does have K command. I think they do it while I am tapped out, so that Flicker Wisp and Violin 3 doesn't ruin them. No, that's fine, but you could have gotten an attack in for one there, friend. Let's just send that up. Am I using this Pithing Needle proactively? I don't think so. I really need this to hit the right Planeswalker. I'll take a second to just pause on the end step, think about violating something in, and then go on. That's this one. Let's go always no to this one. And then go yes to this one. Alright, friend. Show me a lightning bolt. Proliferate this, and send my vial up one sooner, which is great. Maybe I could have just gone for Sword of Fire and Ice safely. Being quite inefficient mana-wise, but that's probably fine. Is this just going to be a Snapcaster Brainstorm? Oh man, I'm so on board with that. Really looking for any creature at this point. And they're just going to take a beating here. The lightning bolt doesn't beat my factory at this point. Always yield to that. Or wait, always no to that. Well, that's not ideal, but it's fine. My vials are fine where they're at. Well, this is officially the biggest Mishra's factory I've ever had. There's some merit in not actually going and playing out that land there for him to Turok reasons. But I seem to have enough going on. Well, like with activating factory and equipping, I'm very mana hungry right now. Tomek would be an amazing draw. Because it would mean that I'm protected from just about everything. All right, Giant Mishra's Factory plus sword gets there, and we beat down Grixis control. Folks, I hope you're enjoying these daily D&T videos, and if you really want to continue the production of them, check out the link below the description. Cheers, and I'll see you tomorrow.